is new prayer and pledge of allegiance, and someone want to volunteer to lead in prayer? Or
I'll lead in prayer tonight.
prayer?
They did that right.
I'm sorry, I didn't call the roll yet, did I?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, it's there.
Still trying.
Okay, now call the roll then.
Mitchell Burnett.
Here.
Doyle Cannon.
Here.
Jerry Dodd.
Here.
David Jackson.
Here.
Sharon Paredes. Here. Buddy Wallace.
Here.
Raymond Yerby.
Here.
Okay,
Alrighty, I'll pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for each of us that's here today. We thank you for the public members that are here. Bless our minds as we decide on the business of Solid Waste Authority, and give us a good meeting. Amen.
Amen.
next item is pledge of allegiance. Is that what we were looking at? You are. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I didn't have much back with that. Well, you had it on the agenda there. Pledge, prayer, pledge, and then recognize.
I wasn't sure the proper order.
Anyway, we got it done. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes.
I'm so moved. Second.
Motion made, second, that we approve the minutes. Any discussion? Any discussion? Let's see, did we have one or two sets
Just one, because the last special meeting was in this month.
into this?
Cannon.
Yes.
Dodd.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Paredes.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Yerby.
Yes.
The next item is the approval of bills, including bills since the package.
I've probably asked you this before. The health care, how often do we pay that? Is this this is monthly, this 13,000 is monthly.
Monthly, the healthcare, United Healthcare.
I'm going to ask what this right code is, RICOH.
That, yearly, there's an annual contract on the copier, and then quarterly, they charge us for the copy count. So that is actually the yearly renewal, and then the quarter copier count. So it's bigger this month than it usually is, for this quarter.
Is the person that pumps the tanks out, are they on here too?
Delco.
Delco.
I didn't get the same page.
That's
Saying
what
that
goes
you-
with the presentation.
Was there anything, I didn't see anything unusual. So I just forget about the health care, is the thing I forget about.
I guess one thing I would say about the care, when this thing did the math, if you take and divide that 13,000 by 28, is that the number?
That should be 24, 25. There's actually, it's 505, 32 a person. Plus
505.
505 per person. Plus there's a little additional for, we have a AD&D on there and a lot. You know, we do still have Rhonda that retired. She's on COBRA, so she's paying in her 500 for that. And we've got one employee that pays for his children. So that's about right at $1,000 of that we don't actually have to cover.
What's your pleasure? Anybody want?
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second. Motion made and seconded to pay the bills, to the bill since packet. Any discussion? Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Yerby.
Yes.
Next item is opening bids. Trailers. Looks like we got 4 bids. And we need somebody to help me. Somebody, you put the numbers down and you can open them up.
All right.
I'll open first. Well, let's see, let's start taking the order. There's Superior Trailer,
That's the small one that you got.
this one, okay, this one, yes, all right.
This is for 3, right?
3 new axle
Yeah.
During the last one, I changed it from, just changed 5 to 3.
Okay, Superior's bid is $66,985 per trailer. $66,985. They also included this here added value to purchase a new code. Superiors of
Here
these
we go. Thank you.
options. We didn't request any options.
It was identical to the last one.
Total of these options is $11,275. Let's see, 4 cubic yards among, I'm not going to read the whole list here, Just have to wait and see here about the other.
Is that in addition
Yes.
to the price? Or
That,
is that included in the
that
price?
appears to be in addition, it says added value to purchase the new IMCO. Uh, Aluminum catwalk, 4 cubic yards more, I guess it's just a bigger bed, air scale gauge, a slider, quick draw valve release, and several items. Like I said, I guess we just had need to go by the David front.
Well, on the air scale, have we ever had a truck come out there hauling grinding that's ever been over 80,000
There's
pounds?
an order. There's an order.
We have.
Roughly 30 to 85.
Have we ever been fined for it?
No, sir.
Okay.
It's okay, I had a hard time, I'm proud of,
Proud of your work.
I'm proud of my work.
The next bid is from Mack Trailer Manufacturing. Did it state the year model of that was on there?
2015 line 4 truck, aluminum top and bottom rail with aluminum cross.
All right, this Mack trailer, this is 2015 year models. Bid prices include delivery to 230 West 2nd Street. Total price, $73,942.
Each.
Don't assume that's what it is.
73,942.
Right. Next one is from
This should be in order.
K&L Holdings LLC. '15 year model. Okay. Their quote, FOB at their place of business in Paragould, Arkansas. Their price, they're $53,993 plus $750 freight for a total of $54,743.
What's the freight for?
That's from Paragould to here.
On the
Now,
shipping.
Okay, all right. Well, the only reason I asked is that FOB
I know,
Paragould.
I know.
Then they have shippings, but that makes sense. They're just charged as a separate charge.
Except for truck drivers for that.
I could send it to Paragould for $750.
there's a
Are
lot
legal to
of,
operate in this state.
a lot of specifications on this thing, a lot more than you think. All right, the next one is Travis Body and Trailer. Got some pretty pictures. Instead of state of the year model.
The specs did say it's 2015, so.
Find the price. Here it is, right front page. All right. These prices are FOB Malvern. $65,600. For a total of $196,803.
Total what?
196,800. 196,800.
Well, to me, now, we currently have trailers from this K&N Holdings.
Those are the previous.
How are they held up, Edward?
They're good.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Well, I guess, what I would say is that, and I guess if you check and there's not any federal excise tax in there, that 53, probably not.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either, but if you check and make sure there's not. I guess what I would say is let's, if it's subject to the meeting the other specs, I'll make a motion that we approve the buying of the trailers from K&L Holdings, and also check into the aspect of maybe sending our own drivers there to pick them up.
Second. But we need to make sure that it does meet the specs.
Right.
That's the
That's
same
the way-
specs that the company got before and the same.
Somebody just
It's
needs
the
to read it
same
over.
company.
Right.
Read over and
Yeah.
do a due diligence and check.
I'll get these guys that know trailers.
Right. Let them look it over and make sure that.
That's just in case somebody
They need to
objects.
stay with
Yeah.
the envelope that came in, or is that?
COP.
Now, did they say when they would be ready at Fairview? That's one of the things I'm going to ask.
Okay, that's
K&L Holdings.
He's actually the one spoken on the phone
That's
that told me
Travis.
mid-November.
Yeah, I think this is paying out.
Last
This
meeting.
is paying out. And then this is back. Okay, I'm gonna show my.
Delivery approximately 16,
Go ahead.
18 weeks after receipt of order. 16 to 18 weeks after receipt of order.
Okay, that's good.
Because again, I don't know anything about this kind of stuff, so don't get irritated. But do we pay sales tax on this? We have to, since it's a government, you don't pay
Should-
sales tax at all, you know.
Shouldn't pay,
kind of-
we shouldn't pay sales
You don't
tax and we
tax
shouldn't pay
anything.
federal excise tax either. I
I
just
just
wanted
want
to
to make
check.
sure, yeah.
If a commercial person buys a truck, they'll pay both. Well, at least they'll pay federal excise tax, but this is a nice acre truck, 12%.
Okay.
But city governments and all this.
I didn't figure they did, I just wanted to make sure.
That's, I'm not absolutely sure about that. The cities, municipalities pay sales tax. There is a special exemption on motor vehicles for municipalities. You don't have to pay sales tax on motor vehicles, but I don't know if that applies to trailers.
When I looked back before when I pulled out the information on the 2010s, I believe we just paid what the actual price was. I wasn't here, but I think the total was just the total price. I don't think they had to go on and get.
Well, you would pay it when you go to get licensed.
That's what I
when you
wondered,
pay
you
it.
don't have to get taxed for them, or?
No, you don't really get
You don't
tax
get
because
really
we're
tax.
exempt from that.
Yeah,
My
okay.
understanding is, but you don't pay a yearly, you don't get a yearly tag, do you?
No.
No.
On any of the vehicles, we've got just the regular.
I think you get, when you go down, when you initially get it, you'll go down and transfer the manufacturer's, I can't remember what they call that. But you'll transfer that manufacturer's firm, you'll get a title, and you'll put it in Southwest.
I know on the cardboard truck, it was like a $8 charge
Right, yeah,
to
just to get a
get
title.
the title
Yeah.
and it had to have the B tags.
It's the manufacturer's, what do they call those things? I filled out a bunch of it before.
Statement of origin.
What's that?
Statement.
That's right, manufacturer's statement of origin, correct.
Okay, we had a motion and second to award the bid to K&L, provided they further analysis shows that they meet our specs.
Have we got a picture of what we're buying?
Which one had a picture?
Travis had a picture. This one here.
Oh, I'm surprised,
that's
Buddy,
the
that
trailer.
based on the price of aluminum,
Oh, I
we're
don't know
still
what the
supposed
trailer
to.
is.
Here's what Travis's look like. They have pictures and put it on.
Okay. They all look like this?
Well, that's a trailer though. I don't, did you
Well,
say
they all
it's a
look-
truck?
We're not buying
We're
trucks.
not Travis.
Yeah, I know,
trailers.
that's right. What am I thinking? The trailers. Oh, lordy.
We've got her in the mood to buy a truck like that.
I know, I'm already thinking of last week.
If we buy new trucks, I think it's gonna be between
little bit more.
70 to
I know,
$100,000.
I'm saying trucks instead of trailers.
These trailers are gonna look like a bargain.
Oh, I know.
Okay, any further discussion? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes,
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Yerby.
Yes.
Next item is the administrative report. Turn it over to you, Chris.
And we will start out with wood grinding with Edward.
Incoming wood, we had 483.99 tons. Incoming dust, we had 426.55 tons, for a total of 910.54 tons. Outgone, we had 1406.4 tons.
Sales rough.
No, they're steady. We're probably 20, 25 loads a week, roughly. Some weeks are a little small. This week's gonna be a little short, but they're steady.
So how much stuff do you have in the buildings out there? Would you estimate?
Buildings, at least on the chip end, probably 10 to 15 trucks on chips. On dust, we probably got about 10 to 15 roughly. Just on day 10, we probably got another 5 to 6 trucks in dust or chips.
Now, is this more or less inventory you normally have, or
Well, it's probably a little more.
a little more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we using up most of the North Yard stuff? now?
North Yard is,
Yeah.
that's the Bay 10, and it's, like I said, there's probably 8 to 10 loads down there. And it was a full, was it 800 feet long?
Mhm.
It was 800 feet long. Moved down to probably a quarter or so.
25 feet? Or 75 feet?
Probably about 75.
75 feet.
Are we almost to the point now that we're getting rid of the one we're getting in?
Yeah,
If we didn't have room for it, so.
yeah.
I mean, it shows here, at least you got rid of 495 tons. Now, on the average truck of the chips, do you get either 50 or 60,000 pounds on chips, or does it keep out before it weighs out?
You talking about loaded?
Yeah, loaded, yeah.
Probably 40, anywhere from 39 to 42,000.
Okay, all right, so, okay. So you only, okay, all right, I got you.
So that's roughly anywhere from 18 to 22 tons.
Right. So you actually do really queue out before you weigh out most of the time?
Yes.
One thing that I want to look into in the very near future, back when we had a really large supply from the North Yard, the prices were dropped quite a bit to push the product, and the prices haven't been raised back up since then. So the majority of our stuff is going out at $14 a ton, and some is going out at 11. And pretty soon, when we can give notice to the buyers, I would like to go up at least $1 a ton. And then maybe a little more than that. If we've got 1,400 tons going out a month, another, $1,400.
Do you need an authorization from the board, or can you just do
I
it?
don't believe so. There never has been in the past. The prices have just kind of fluctuated, but they have stayed at the lower price for quite a while now. And I think some of the buyers know that they're getting a really good deal, and I don't think another $1 a ton is going to hurt. So a little more money for us. And
Just like the price of gasoline, huh? Supply and demand.
yeah. To give you a little idea, WCA, I believe, in El Dorado used to pay $28 a ton. Now they're paying $14. The price was cut in half. So they weren't. And I know Rhineco, some of the local loads and stuff were 18, and they got cut to 14. Republic has been paying 11 for quite a while, and they were at 20. So a lot of the prices got cut in half to move some product quite a while back.
And how long ago since those product prices?
What did we look last June? The prices were
Not
dropped
all
last
of
June.
I'm
So
up them a little more than $1.
We might ought
I want
to,
to check in a little bit too on what, I know Union County was getting some product closer from Hope, I believe you told
I
me.
think so, yeah.
I don't know what they were getting it for, but I have an idea it wasn't anywhere close to $14 a ton. And
That might give you a better idea where you need
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
to.
to remove to yes.
We probably should have checked with some of these other companies that, you know, there's trucks come with my house, you know, I don't even live on a major highway, but there's trucks come to my house day and night, all this chip. There's one company in particular in Hines. I don't know if they just haul for so much a ton, or if they're buying and selling, or whatever.
I would
But we
think most of
probably
those are probably straight pine chips from the sawmill, where what we have is not that type of product. You know, it's mostly Willamette board. So, you know, Willamette chips, MDF chips.
In other
So,
words, theirs is going
A
to.
lot of theirs is probably going direct to the paper mill or somewhere like that, I would guess. I could be wrong. Y'all may have a better idea on that than I do, but theirs is probably a different product, so.
The companies are not likely to tell us if we're selling it too cheap. It'll be up to us to find out how
Well,
to sell.
What I would suggest, at least thinking about it, it's a little bit like the frog and the hot water. Slowly increase it $1 or so every 3 or 4 months, you might get it back to a place that's a little better for you.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, if you increased it $5 in 1 month,
Mhm.
you hear a lot of squawking. But if you spread that $5 out over, 6 to 8 months, you'll probably get there and they won't say a word.
We talked last month about going ahead and bidding out the Donaldson land. And because we had this other bid going on this month, I didn't do anything, but I did type up something. If you want me to put it in to open at the next meeting, Hot Spring County Solid Waste is accepting bids for the sale of a 2-acre parcel of land located on Highway 67 South through noon on 9/15, which is the next meeting. This parcel is adjacent to Hot Spring County Water Association office. The appraised value has been set at $8,000 by the HSC assessor. Bid opening will be at the regular meeting, 6 p.m. the 15th. SWA reserves the right to reject any and all bids. If you want me to, I can go ahead and put that in, and I wanted to ask, should I put a quote about closing cost? Whether we pay regular and customary, or closing costs, or all of the buyer's expense? Is there anything in that?
I suspect we'd probably be better off doing customary, and I would guess that most buyers are having a policy of title insurance. Probably be easier to do that before we start conveying warranty units.
I haven't checked into it, but I believe the survey was done on the property.
Well, if we close with McClure, McClure's gonna want that, or they'll want a new one, and there's no guarantee they won't a new one anyway.
Anything else on that, or is that good?
See, did we, motion was to forget.
Bid it out, yes.
Go ahead and bid it out.
Let's see.
Sounds good to me. Anybody?
I'm all in favor of it. Not that we desperately need the money, but on the other hand, it's just sitting there too. We don't have a long-range plan, we might as well sell it.
Wouldn't work for the dump side, would it?
Not 2 acres.
A great part for the city also.
Yeah, but you think Donaldson might be willing to pay a little more than $8,000 in appraisal for it too. So I don't know.
Well, and we reserve the right to refuse,
Even
reject any
that.
bids, so
Okay.
if they come up with a good price. Sale of the old grinder, I spoke with Mr. Dodd last week about the next equipment auction. I did print this off. The next auction is September the 20th at the fairgrounds. I contacted Stafford today and asked what their charges are on this. Y'all can pass this, or I just printed off one. You can pass it around if you want to. If the item does not sell, there is a $30 charge. If the item sells for $1,000 to $5,000, it's 10%. 5,000 to 10,000 is 4%, and over 10,000, I'm sorry, 6%, and over 10,000 is 4%. And any large items that you want to sell, you can email the information to them and pictures, and they'll advertise it on their website for free. There's no charge for that. So I know we talked about it, we were thinking maybe in October, but it is September, so that's pretty quick. I didn't know if anybody wanted to move on possibly taking the grinder. Is it roadworthy to make it to the fairgrounds? Okay.
I also said some of this other equipment that's roadworthy, take it out there too, because
I don't.
I guess as long as our counselor says, as long as it's at that auction, I know I saw a lot of city property there the last time I went. You know, that satisfies, and that qualifies, and, you know, let's move some of this stuff.
What'd you say the last thing to take out there?
We've got some older trucks that probably are roadworthy. Now, some of the others are not roadworthy, and I know I've been out there. You know, last time I was out there, some people selling some wheelies that were really more in parts than they were together. I don't know if they had axles up them, but anyway.
Did Brian ever look at that one for maybe
I don't believe he did. I did look up the information on that. We paid $2,850 for that truck. That's the 71, I believe, International, that does nothing but pull the old grinder around. So.
Maybe we could leave it hooked up to the old grinder and sell it all
Sell it as
together,
a-
huh?
yeah.
Somebody a good package.
Yeah, there we go, cheaper. There you go.
Might get
I
more
guess
for
the
the truck.
buy one,
One
get
thing
one
I
half
would-
price.
There you go.
One thing I would say,
Sale.
once in an auction selling trailers and that, we got titles, don't we?
Oh.
Okay, or we can work to get it, one of the two. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I found the titles on that truck. The other items were that Pac Mac that I showed y'all, or the tires good enough to get it there. It
I
has to be
don't
hauled
know.
with a
I've
gooseneck.
never pulled it. I know last time I heard it didn't have trailer brakes.
It would have to be hauled with gooseneck, so
Yeah.
I don't know that we
And
would be
get
able
the
to haul it.
Todd over there, take a gander and see what he says.
And then the other two are those really old trucks, number one and number two, that there's nothing left. I mean, they're scrap. They would have to go on a really big record.
Well, then in that situation, so again, we'll look over their counselor. Could we sell those as scrap? Just have a junk dealer come in and buy them for their metal weight?
I think we had a finding that that's all their value was. Potentially, that we had exhausted the service line of the equipment. I think so.
I know you can buy a new truck for whatever it takes to rebuild those too. All the parts.
What years are they?
Oh. Any idea?
The Max is 80
One and
something
two.
model. That International's probably in the 80s too.
Well, I guess from what our counselor is telling us is that maybe, Chris, you can do some checking and see what the records show. And if they've been fully depreciated, then
I'm sure that-
we can maybe come back to us next meeting, we can authorize them to be sold for scrap value. That way somebody will come and pull them away for us, we don't have to mess with them. Because, you know, Tanner, I'm not saying you would use Tanner, but Tanner moved him, he'd charge you $1,000 a pop or more.
At least.
And then you get into the auction and have to pay $30 a minute.
Now, do we need to do a motion on the grinder?
Because we already said we wanted to sell it, right?
Right,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I guess what I'm saying, do we need to do a motion saying take them to this auction? Along with those, what was the other thing you were saying?
The truck, the 71 International truck is
Okay,
is
all right,
a
sure.
roadworthy truck.
Sure.
But so we only paid $28.50 for it several
Right.
years ago, so if you leave it hooked to the grinder, the truck might increase the
Okay.
price of the grinder. And I do have pictures of those that I can send to Stafford and have those put on
Okay.
their website.
So at this point in time, I'll make a motion that we take this, you say 71 International? 71 International tractor and the tub grinder to this September, what date is it?
20th.
20th Stafford auction at the Hot Springs County Fairgrounds.
Do we want to set like a low end that we'll accept, or just get rid of it? Just get rid of it.
To get rid of them, you need to take whatever they get. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully,
That's scrap
you know,
price.
there's a couple of people there that have got some kind of use for them.
I don't know what that thing weighs, but we don't want to sell it for less scrap price.
There'll be scrap buyers there, there always are scrap buyers.
Yeah.
Well, there were the two that bid on it before that said if we put it up for bid again, they wanted notice. So I'm assuming I can. send them
What was the little
information.
bid at that time?
There was the one for 600, there was a 13,000, there was a 22,000.
I guess what I would say, I'd amend my motion to say that we put a reserve of, for the two of them, $20,000. I don't know what we'll do. We have to haul them back out of Jonesville.
Wow, see, that's the thing though.
Okay, then if one sells, they both sell, is that,
Well,
that
I
that
will-
what you're saying?
I will tell you too, I asked if the sale price was a total of articles or if it was on a single. And she said the percentage is for each single item. So if you sell those both together and they go over 10,000, then you only have to pay the 4%. But if you sell them separately and they're 5,000 apiece, you have to pay 6% on each item, if that makes sense.
Well, if they buy the grinder, they gotta have somewhere to pull it home, so sell them together.
Do you think 20,000 is too high for the reserve price?
I was thinking, if you've already been offered 22 for the grinder,
Yeah, right.
it'd be a little awkward to turn around and offer it and the truck both for 20. That's two less than what we've done been offered for the
Okay, let's
grinder.
say 24,000.
You know,
2,000 for the truck and 22 for the grinder.
Do you think we could ask him if he wanted to, I know land options and stuff, they'll do them together or separate. They'll do like a bid on the truck, a bid on the grinder, and then a bid together.
Then take the highest of both bids.
Right.
That's the way they do it, or like to do it.
Bid together or separate.
Okay, we had a motion, did anybody second?
second.
Motion made and seconded that we put the tub grinder and the 71 International in the September sale, the reserve price of $24,000. Any questions? Any questions?
That bid that you got on that, is there any way of getting that now?
As far as getting in touch with the people that made the bid, yes. I can contact them and see, but because they'll accept online bids on these too, so they may want to put an online bid in.
See, the problem we had, Doyle, is Blake Regan had 70,000.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to this public auction out at the fairgrounds, I'm gonna say, we essentially, because of the buyers and sellers there, I know you've probably been there, I've only been there a couple of times, there's all kinds of folks circulating around, then it's a public auction.
Right.
And that, in a certain degree, then we're not stuck with this inflated value of 70,000.
But he could, you said he could bid, he could resubmit his bid online instead
Right.
of auction, and instead of bidding it that.
But if he was going to contact, that tells me he'd give a little more than the 22, so.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Pettis,
Yes.
Yes.
Wallace. Yerby.
Yes.
E-cycling at all the stations is going absolutely crazy right now. We're having more than we expected. I talked to y'all at one of the last meetings about the fact that we have $80,000 waiting in grant funds to be able to use towards electronic recycling efforts, and several of us have talked about possibly getting some of the small enclosed trailers, maybe the 6x10, 6x12 for each station. And with the money from that, there should be plenty there to cover. I believe we could probably get those for $2,000 or less a piece. And we could have a person, like the guy that's working in the electronics center now, take a regular pickup truck and go pick those trailers up, so it wouldn't have to be a CDL licensed driver to be able to do that. That's something we're thinking about and talking about on some of the requests for the funding. We have filled another trailer in less than a month with 17,305 pounds of electronics. Just for your information, for 2013, we averaged 3.03 tons a month in electronics. In June, we just did 5.55, and in July, we did 7.59 tons. And the last week of July is when we put the, I believe there was only 1 week that we had the containers at all stations. So I look for this month to be a little busier than that. And if you did hear on the radio, there was the cleanup, the electronics recycling. And we did bring in about 1,600 pounds just in those 2 days to send off in the district trailer. So not only did we have the 17,000 last month, we added an additional 1,600 pounds to the district trailer. So it was a very good idea. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to get with that new company that's going in Osceola and maybe sell these electronics instead of just sending those out to Texas.
Let me suggest this. One thing that I had thought about is that authorizing the administrator to buy 2 of these trailers sort of as a trial run. At the same time, getting the way you cook them up, stabilize them, and all this, and even see if they work. And I agree with Chris. I think the max that they go for is $4,000, and have her buy 2 of them. Because I think we need to to get something for the hitch and for each of the sides to stabilize the trailer for safety, and at the same time pull them back. And I guess I would encourage us. I guess I'll even make a motion that we authorize her to buy 2 of these box trailers to see if they will work. And if they do, then we apply for the grant to get about another 8 from folks over in Hot Springs.
One of the ideas is the fact that where they wrap up the electronics over at the East Center, with a regular truck, you can pull those trailers right up the ramp and inside and back it right up to where they unload. So it will make it easy. They'll be inside out of the rain. They can get the trailers unloaded.
Are they going to be hard to load
As far as trailers,
because
we've got a trailer that's got a ramp on it. And the first thing I thought was, well, a ramp would be a good idea. But the more I thought about it, the ramp on the back is pretty heavy to lift and let back down. And I'm kind of leaning more towards the door on the back.
Well, I mean, my own self.
If you do that, then a truck in the back.
I've worked with one, and now with these lifts, if they get that device underneath as sort of a counterbalance, that lift is not that hard to operate.
Well,
I don't know what the maintenance is on it.
yeah. Well, and for one thing, we've got some smaller women that work the stations. It might be a little difficult on them. And the other thing we were talking about is if the ramp is down, I don't know how a truck can back up to it real well if they wanted to unload into it. So depending on the location, that's one of the things, the logistics of where we put these things. I don't know whether the door or the ramp would be better. And I wanted to...
Well, maybe what we ought to do is buy 1 of each and see.
it's going to be hard to fill those things up from the front, because it's somebody small and get a big old TV set in or something. How are they going to get that thing all the way up?
Well, I think the other thing too is that's part of what I think, to get one and trying it out a little bit is, do we have 2-wheelers at every location? That maybe have?
No, we don't. And I know before that we had talked about getting possibly the little hand forklifts, you know, for each station, if we had these.
Oh, you mean those
the
jacked up
Gaylord.
ones?
If we had the Gaylords, you could have a little hand forklift. One thing on those trailer floors, I know the ones we have, they have a plywood floor, and you can push stuff across it pretty easily. Now, that may be a good thing, may be a bad thing. You go to load it up to leave with it, and some of the stuff may slide back and forth if you don't actually put it in containers inside.
What about
Or you
using
may,
the Gaylords in themselves? and
that was where I was gonna
put
say,
them-
it may be in some of the, you know, the smaller items. We're getting a lot of PlayStations and VCRs,
Mhm.
things like that. The smaller items you could put down in the Gaylord boxes, and then, you know, the larger TVs and stuff, you could kind of wiggle to the side maybe. And then
I did
once the-
notice that the Gaylord box on Sunday at Gifford was full.
There's actually some spares out there that the truck driver on Saturday kind of moves those around in case they get full on Saturday too. He'll stick those out under the storage building and put empty ones out to cover for Saturday.
What size trailers are you making?
You would think the bigger the better, but since some of the locations have a smaller area to put those in, I was thinking myself maybe the 6 by 12s or maybe the 8 by 10 to 12s.
The length of those most of the time and also includes the tongue too.
Some of them have just the
So
box
it's-
and then some include the tongue, so. Did y'all have any other suggestions or ideas on those?
Deal is, I don't know how it's gonna work, putting the Gaylords inside. If you put one of them Gaylords inside, I think that's gonna take up a lot of your space. And the deal is getting away from the Gaylords, it's hard to put TVs in them Gaylords. And then dragging them back out. After you get it in there, by the time they get up to the E-Center, all that stuff bouncing around on that old Mac is wedged in there pretty good, and they're hard to get out for 2 grown men. My idea was the trailer, because you could just slide it up on that floor. It's gonna slide to the very front, and it's not just the operator gonna be loading it. You know, whoever's taking it out of their vehicle's gonna be assisting the operator. So that was the reason for the trailers, and it would, then like Chris said, you wouldn't have to have somebody with a CDL going out picking them up. You could have anybody basically that works for SWA can pull a trailer. They can go get one if it's full. And that cuts down on having to have a driver.
How quick would they fill up a 6-foot trailer?
Well, I don't know, it just depends on how.
Well, that's why.
They've been doing this long enough
I
to
think
see a
the
trend.
thing
Yeah.
is, though, that's the reason I believe it'd be good to buy 2, maybe one with one that comes down. The ramp comes down. I mean, recently, I moved 3 kids, you know, all of these to their houses with a ramp that comes down. At least for me, those were real handy with just a 2-wheeler. On the other hand, you know, Chris and other people were saying something about when people get up, maybe it's the other way. I'd say buy one of each, but at the same time, we gotta get, I believe, if the public's gonna be going in and out, we gotta get those blocks to go around, block each side for safety. And what do you know, blocks? What?
How long does it need to be, 6 feet, 8 feet?
I would say 8 to 12 feet long, and the one I had was 10 feet, oh, it was 12 foot long, it was a single axle, and it was 6 foot wide on the inside.
6 foot's about the maximum width
Yeah.
that you get.
Yeah.
How well are you gonna be able to utilize the entire height
That's
of that trailer?
Probably
my
wide.
concern.
It probably mainly just be the floor.
If they'll stack it in there and not just throw it, you can stack it up pretty good. And you can go to any truck stop and buy some of them load blocks, put across. Have you seen them? It's just a pole that just,
Right.
it locks in place, and that way you won't get any movement. And that's the whole deal. You go to Bismarck, and Tony, when he packs one of them Gaylord boxes, it's packed, but it's level. And some of the stations, they're just kind of randomly throwing stuff in, and you can kind of shift it around and get another 2 days out of it, you know. So it's all about packaging, and that's something that's gonna have to be, we'll have to go over at a safety meeting, go over with them, you know, let's package it up as tight and neat as we can to get our maximum efficiency.
See, I've got a 6-bay enclosed trailer, and I haul 1,000 pounds of musical equipment around in it, and I don't use half of the depth of the trailer as far as from the floor to the ceiling, but I use the whole trailer from front to back, and you know, just I know how much wasted space is in the trailer that I use, but because of the amps and speakers and different things and light bars and all this kind of stuff, I'm able to pack the whole floor pretty much full up halfway up the trailer and then hang the light bars up on the side. But I've still got plenty of headspace in between, and you know, we just need to try to utilize as much of the cubic area as we possibly can.
That's the other thing I'd like to see come out of this, if we buy 2 trailers, is really a plan or a procedure, how you gonna do this.
One thing too that I kind of thought about was on the smaller stuff, like I said, we get lots of little things. And if there was some way that you could even manufacture some sort of plywood box up at the front that all that little stuff could be set down in, and then you still got all the big space.
Well,
for
the one
TVs
trailer
and
that I
stuff,
was
and then that could pile up, you know.
Yeah, but if
The one trailer that I was
people-
moved with
if
did
they're
have a
loading it while
front
people are
door.
bringing it in, then you get one
Side
big
door.
thing in the front, I mean, and then
The-
you can't get to that
the-
back thing again.
Yeah, there's side doors. You can
There's a
do
third side door. Now, you might want to check about, you might want to buy one with the side door.
Man, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was pretty handy, the one I
I'll
had.
tell you what,
It actually belongs to my son-in-law.
when I
He
pull up to
uses
that
it.
trailer to put something in it, I'm not gonna be particular about putting it here.
I know, you're just gonna shove it in there.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
I
gonna
agree.
chunk it in there, and that's
Right.
what 90% of
I
people
agree
don't
with
do.
you. Yeah, right, yeah.
So, buy a couple of trailers and see how they fill up and how
Right.
they do and how they all
Right.
go for it.
Yeah, go for it, I agree.
If they work fine, if they don't, sell them or something.
Will it hurt this electronics to get wet?
Well, you don't want the leachate, you don't want the
Yeah,
leachate
yeah.
come out, that's the big thing. Don't
Okay.
need water running off.
Yeah, okay.
That's
That's why they have to be
very
under the covers.
verboten in our business.
And
Okay.
you don't think just a couple of months is, I mean, I don't know, do you really think that it's gonna stay that high, month after month?
I
Do you
have
think
asked-
it was just a
And this was one thing I started asking.
Because everybody cleaned their house.
Yeah, I started asking the employees about it, and I said, you know, is this normal? Is this how much you normally get in the compactors? And they said, yeah, that's about what we've been getting.
So instead of going in the compactors, now it's just going to the
Yeah, they've been
stakes.
going-
So they've been, all right. Well,
Well,
So
do
the other
we have
thing
a
too-
second on 2 trailers?
I'll second.
Okay, already.
Motion made and second that we
And I'll vote
authorize the
yes.
purchase of 2 trailers for moving e-cycle.
One with a ramp, one without a ramp, and both of them with side doors, I guess.
Yeah, both, that's good, a good idea, Doral.
One with air and one without.
I know, right?
You have a preference on colors?
I'm just kidding.
A preference of colors.
We didn't stipulate a length, but if you're gonna put a side door in it, it's probably gonna be a.
We'll let that link be to the
Yeah.
administrator's discretion.
12.
10, 12.
First thing, I want to go out and measure some of the stations and
Right.
find out. Gifford's going to be the main one that's getting the most,
Right.
probably so far, and to find an area there, and then,
Right.
you know, one of the.
That's your discretion, that's what the administrator does.
Thank you. I get to be first.
Okay, motion in the second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes,
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes,
Garby.
Yes.
I guess, was that trailers?
Well, one thing we should do, after a couple of months or 3 months, we really do need to put an article in the paper saying, and congratulate ourselves.
I wanted to get some of the numbers, and I didn't want to
I know, well,
tell
yeah,
everybody
I
in
said
front
2 or
of
3
it, 'cause-
months, you know, so, you know, wait 2 or
Yeah,
3
you
months.
want to set a trend, see a
But
trend.
really, everybody's really excited about it.
And he's on tape too.
Hey, he's just,
We'll get a cemetery lot right out there at his house, so I can own it.
Right down there at France Way.
I did get with, Danny Hobbs, sent a construction guy out to look at this. I don't know if y'all have all seen the issue at the satellite station. I drew some little diagrams here. This is where the drain is right now. That water should be running this way. The actual slope is running this way. And I was there when they were loading a trailer. You can see the water going away from the drain. This is just another picture, and I'll pass these around so y'all can see these a little better. But this is what they proposed. If you can tell what this is putting the curbing on both sides and then a full drain across where all the water is draining off on the ground right now, where the leachate is draining off on the ground right now. And then this is just a larger picture that shows you if it were stopped right here by a drain, it would be great. But right now, there's nothing stopping it, so it's just continuing to run here down towards, this is the front of the trailer. So I did get a price back on the concrete work and drain work at $4,555. That's putting in the drains, the 24-foot long drain, the curbing, rebar, the grate, and all that, if y'all want to look at that. Now, that does not include the plumber. We will have to have a plumber out there, and I just haven't had a chance to meet with the plumber.
What is there to plumb?
It has to, the drain is gonna
The
have to
pipe?
be plumbed into the sewer system.
Okay.
And because they have to plumb it to the sewer, this guy's not a licensed plumber, he's a.
Is this the jackhammer that dig it up so we can put a drain?
Put a drain at the wrong end is basically.
Who is Harper?
When they built it, or?
Danny Nobbs brought him. I didn't know him, he was a real nice guy, and Danny said that's who he uses all the time.
Danny
and I-
brought him?
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I would say is that, like on the days when there's not a trailer there, and there may just be rainwater, can somehow cover that drain up. If that could just be part of their maintenance.
There is a trailer there pretty much at
All the time, so.
All the time.
So it's gonna give a decent amount of rainwater, which is just the nature of the beast. Okay, no problem. Well, I make a motion that we accept this bid and we authorize the administrator to do it along with hiring a plumber to hook it up to the sewer system.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the administrator to hire Harper Concrete Construction to install curbs and drain and arrange for plumbers that put it to sewer.
We can just pick people, we don't have to.
Is this going to give ADQ all for backs?
That's what I talked to Sheldon Hadley about. He was the previous inspector that's been the inspector here since the satellite station was put in, and they were writing us up
For
in the end
this?
of 2010, 2011. And every time he comes to inspect, he was discussing that. I spoke with him and told him, found out exactly what the issue was, and he said all he wants is that leachate water to go into a drain and not on the ground.
Okay.
I have since, he has left ADQ and moved to Florida, and I recently spoke to Lori Burke that is over his position right now, and I talked to her on the phone for quite a while about it, and she said, just let us know you're working with us, send me a copy of the estimate, let us know what's going on. She said if we see that you're trying to fix it, then that's all we want to know. So,
is this is in the same location where BFI was wanting us to spend like,
$250,000.
Yeah.
Putting a roof on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to cover all the trailers and everything.
$250,000 to
Yeah.
fix.
I never did understand that.
I didn't either.
Okay, let's see. Where are we? We had a motion.
First and second, yeah.
Motion and second. And any further discussion? Call the roll.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes, Wallace,
Yes.
Yerby.
Yes.
Next thing I have is the management plan. I emailed it to everybody, and if y'all don't have it, I've got more copies here if anybody wants to look at that.
Can I have one of yours? Mine wouldn't be color, mine didn't come out color.
And this is also that.
Once I did it, it didn't show it very good anymore. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah,
Oh, the
I-
school ought to have a better copy.
Hey, I know, you think the math department would, kidding, I got a 1980s printer, almost dot matrix still.
And this is that 5-year, the previous 5 years that I just did up for y'all to compare.
Well, I'm impressed.
I love this, yes, that's why,
Thank
I
you.
sent you an email back, I don't know if
I
you
did,
got it.
I got
or
it,
not.
I got it.
Okay, good.
Is there gonna be an operator supervisor, or is that you?
Well, the operator supervisor right now, what I'm thinking of is we have a trainer that is receiving training wages, and I've talked to him about that. He would be more than happy. Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
know if I can-
I've looked at that.
I might have sent that to you, I'm sorry. And I spoke with him today about it, and what we discussed about, would he be willing to go to travel with the new employees and go to their
Around to the
stations?
different ones.
And he said, that's what I've always wanted to do. So, he's on board with that, if y'all wanted to continue using him for that.
The truck dispatcher is,
That is actually the satellite station operator right now, Jay, who, he's taking all the calls.
is that who weighs the things out there too?
Yes.
He weighs them and then goes in and,
Okay, that's something I'm going to work on, because as it is
I think
now,
they
the
were sort of
scales.
they sort of self-weigh
Yeah,
themselves.
the scales where they actually push the tickets are in the scale house
Yeah.
on the right-hand side, but we can have the wire run to put in the satellite station to where when somebody drives up, he puts the ticket in there, he pushes in their number, they weigh back out, he's got the ticket, and it all stays right there, because as it is now, they walk the tickets back and forth. And two, later, when we talk about sending commercial haulers over there, as it is now, when the commercial haulers go in, a lot of them already know how to weigh themselves, and they have to go in the scale house to do it, which is pretty much the break room, you know. So, that's gonna open it for everybody to be going into our scale house. Any outsider will be open to that. So if we can have it where the scale wiring goes directly to Jay, then
You gonna get an estimate on that?
yes. Mhm.
Go ahead and get the estimate together. then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it makes management sense to me.
Yeah.
Because it allows that person
Yeah.
to be more in control, especially when we start.
well, that takes care of the person that's been being there, plus the person.
Well, there hadn't been a person there. Them guys, our truck drivers were self-weighing themselves.
Have they?
Yeah.
Well, what's the lady been doing out there? She's been working in that,
Jay's been in that position for a while. She hasn't. been there.
oh, I didn't know that. I thought she was.
Yeah, she went back to working at the stations.
She
I found
said
that
it
out.
was too boring. Didn't have enough to do, but if you can get some of you guys out to move next door with their stuff, it's going to have them.
Plus two, now he's taking all phone calls and everything.
Yeah.
He's getting more on him now,
He
so,
is.
than what that job
He's a-
originally started out as.
Dispatcher, yeah.
Well, do we need to vote on this? I don't have a problem with it.
How much price wages increasing is there going to be on this?
Well, when I talked to y'all the other night in the meeting, in executive session, on some of the wages of the employees now, I don't know if that's something we need to talk about, or if I can just give you an idea of what that position is and name a price. Without naming a name.
We need to fix her something first. Don't we still need to fix her salary now that she has actually been doing?
It is going to cost us a lot more per month, though.
In reality,
if we
I'm
go with
proposing, we're going with a recycling person. I'm proposing that one to go up versus what they're doing now, about $5 an hour, a little more, which also that person is driving a truck too, so they're.
Plus safety.
That would be the recycling safety. The truck dispatcher would be about $250 more. And then also with our maintenance person, I had an idea of moving him up some, which would be about $1.77 an hour on him. And that would increase a total of a little less than $10 an hour. Which, as we talked about,
We were already subtracting off.
we're subtracting off the 27 right now, and as well as we were paying a laborer at the industrial park that was almost 15 on that person. That was a truck driver that had already had 2-3% increases, so he was
Okay.
14.79.
Is there going to be a job shift on these? We had one that was getting paid more and wasn't doing the job.
That was
Is she going
something
to change jobs?
that y'all did discuss in
Okay, yeah.
executive session, and
So I can leave it
that
alone.
was,
Yeah.
that was just an option there.
Well, I guess from what you're saying, Chris, and I think it's a good plan, is essentially we would do these $10 an hour for the 3 people, and you'd do $10 for an administrative assistant. So with that, I believe with that, we probably would stay true to the aspect that we're trying to contain stuff. Because that would essentially, the way I look at it, essentially there's 2 recent people that's 41 something, 41.85, and so you'd only be about half. So, I mean, certainly I think in that regard, we can certainly, everyone that's here can say that by, essentially cutting out $21, which essentially is almost 2 people, we've done a pretty good job.
There's gonna have to be a little moving around, and, we've had mention of maybe hiring some, part-time people. We're gonna be tight on operators with that, but I've also had some that have volunteered on a regular basis for overtime. So,
Does this include your helper here too?
Yeah, that's.
no, I don't have that on there, but I talked about that. Oh, mine, yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I put that as the office manager because I didn't know exactly what that
that-
person's title would be. And what this kind of does at the moment is does away with an assistant administrator. I didn't know if there was ever anything, bylaws or anything that named, that we had to have an administrator, assistant administrator, whatever.
No, but we need to train one.
Yeah, we need to have someone that can step in.
As far as,
She could still step in. If she's working in there with her, she can still see what's going on.
Yeah.
She's just not getting the title, which always titles usually bring more money.
That's the way Chris learned it too.
well, that's what I said. That's what I said
I'm
with
okay
this.
with office managers.
Me too.
Yes. Yes.
The reason I put the service and maintenance under there, I talked to y'all about that before, is we contact them to tell them things to do from the office, and 2, we control the money they spend that way.
So instead of them being a
So-
separate branch out.
Well, they
Yeah.
work across the
Yeah.
board too.
Yeah.
They do, and that was kind of a-
We're everywhere, yeah.
Hard to figure where to put them, but for them to actually call, like I said, for PO numbers, or for us to tell them, yes, it's okay to order tires, yes, it's okay to send that truck to the shop to fix it or whatever. That way, they're talking to us about it instead of calling up a truck driver and saying, hey, can I take your truck?
Okay, this should, if this works as planned, it should smooth things out as far as the way things are ran then.
I hope so. The thing is, like I said, everybody will have a head of their, shall we say, department to contact when they have a problem, and then there's not 24 people calling the office.
Do we need to put a price for this for the public?
Well, I guess if I was going to make a motion, this is what my motion would say, is that with these changes, with the safety person, the dispatcher, and the maintenance person, that the amount of increase for them would be less than $11 an hour. And of course, it also considers that we need to hire, or the administrator is going to hire an office manager at, say, $10, $50, $11 an hour, however it works out. But right now, we have less wages from the prior administrator and from another worker of $41.85. So we're saving, or we actually made a reduction of $20 an hour less with this management structure.
But we don't need to make a motion, we just need to say, this guy's gonna make this, and this one's gonna make this, and this one's gonna make this, and then vote on this whole
And
package.
that was one thing I didn't know if y'all wanted
We
to
could do it that
talk
way,
to
it doesn't make a
those.
difference to me.
I mean, that's, we don't need to say, because we're saving so much, we're gonna pay this guy this, and because we're saving, you know, just put a
But
price on
I guess
it.
at the bottom line, that's my
Yeah,
thought
that's
process.
that's what we know.
Yeah.
But my question again, do we need to put a price on these before we vote on them?
Well,
Salary.
probably based on what we've done in the
Well, and I
past.
didn't know
it
if you
probably
wanted to
would
speak
be.
to those people individually, or, you know, okay with those if they're moving to a management position,
Do we need to
or
put a
have a
price?
6-month stipulation
No,
on there
I
that you'll
mean-
give a,
Probation.
I mean, I know with me, I'll say, you know, 6 months and see where things
So
go.
why don't we just adopt the chart?
Okay.
One motion, adopt the chart, and then fill the positions.
I don't think we even have to say how much on the position, that's not,
That's her prerogative.
that's her.
Yes, that's her doings.
I move we accept this
I'll
management
second that
organization
chart.
chart.
Motion made and seconded, we adopt this management organization chart. Any questions?
If we adopt the chart as drawn, the hierarchy implies a controlling interest in the operations of the board by the member communities, the county, cities of Donaldson, Friendship. As I've mentioned to the board on any number of occasions, I'm concerned about liability and the ability to pierce the corporate veil by surrendering independence as a separate body politic of the authority. Adopting this chart, I think, creates an exhibit in litigation that would certainly look as if we are at the direction of those member communities. So I'd rather we had that graphically
Move that
done
off.
differently, but
Let me ask you this. I ask you, tell you what, I have gathered from reading the statutes on this, that these public entities up here, the court, municipalities, is if this authority goes broke, bankrupt, whatever happens to it, we are still stuck, we are still liable, we're gonna have to be, have a plan to get rid of the garbage because the law puts it on the municipalities. And this board is just, this authority is just a tool that we have formed for us to carry out our duty. Now, I'm speaking as for the city of Donaldson. And from what I read in David, like I said, if this thing blows up, goes bankrupt or whatever, Donaldson Friendship and the Quorum Court, we still got to, we're ultimately responsible for handling the solid waste.
I don't end of the day, yes, each county and municipality in the state of Arkansas under the Solid Waste Act is responsible to create a plan, a comprehensive plan to deal with solid waste issues. My observation is the same that I've mentioned to you guys before. There's a parallel statute that creates public facilities boards. And public facilities boards, the wording and the organization of the statute is virtually identical to the creation of solid waste boards such as this one. There is a settled case law in Arkansas. Public facilities board goes out and hires architect. Says, architect, do all this work. We're going to put a bond or a question out on the ballot for the voters to decide, and see if we can get funding for your project. So they do that. Voters vote it down, or the bond fails. And shortly thereafter, the member communities dissolve the Public Facilities Board. Now, I want to think it's Bradley County, but I'm not 100% sure. It's either Bradley or Baxter, and for whatever reason they get mixed up in my mind. And so the architect says, well, I've done all this work for the Public Facilities Board. You all have dissolved the Public Facilities Board, so now I'm going to sue the county for my money. And the Supreme Court came back with a ruling that, no, your agreement was with the Public Facilities Board. Your agreement was not with the county. Sorry, we're not awarding you anything. The Solid Waste Authority, at least in, I think, a parallel decision that I think should apply to us as well, is a liability shield from the members. For instance, if we get written up by ADQ, they don't go down to Donaldson or Friendship or the county and say, we're going to fine you. I mean, that's the authority's responsibility. That's what we're there for. I'm just observing that on the chart that we're preparing here and holding out as our organizational chart, we are blurring that distinction. Now, if this board wants to do that, I suppose it can, but the real asset of the Solid Waste Authority is as a liability shield for the members. The members create the authority to handle solid waste matters, to do the comprehensive planning for their members, to deal with the regulatory agencies, and to manage the HR problems. I'm just bringing your attention that if we blur that, potentially we open the members up to liability. Now, if the members want that liability, that I guess is
By
fine
creating
too.
this, we're opening
Yeah,
the
I don't
members up.
understand how that, I don't.
It becomes an exhibit.
Okay, if we forget this, she's got her job,
Right.
and she wants to take this on, or just appoint these folks, and the board doesn't have anything to do
He's talking about.
with it.
I'm just talking about.
He just talked about
Yeah,
fixing that
okay.
one part.
Just the top part, yeah.
Right.
But still, it falls on down to us too.
Yeah, everything from the board of directors box down, I don't have any problem with. And I just mention that because by taking a vote, the board then ratifies an organizational structure that in the event there was litigation, this would almost certainly become an exhibit if somebody wanted to pierce the corporate veil.
Okay, and if we don't take a vote on it,
Well, I mean,
and she goes ahead and puts it in place.
Well, I fully agree with David.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, I agree with Mitchell too. But the reason I agree with Mitchell is when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the EPA and some regulations, it doesn't make a difference who, because that is
They don't
joint and
care.
several liability. They're going to get it from whoever's got the money. But for what David is talking about, for a lot of the stuff we do, for our HR stuff and our various contracts, we can shield the member agencies from that. Now, on the other hand, it's like that landfill up there in northern Arkansas. When it comes to getting that leachate, the judge in the bankruptcy court said, hey, just pass another tax. But that's at the end of the tail end. It's not like for example, here, if we had a contract, for example, for some strange reason, if everything got blew away tomorrow, and we didn't want to get those trailers, but we'd actually ordered them, we could probably say, we're not going to get them, and maybe use the force majeure law, let's say, as an excuse. Well, they couldn't come back against Donaldson or the county court to enforce that contract. The buck would have to stop right here with us. If they couldn't get it, they couldn't get it. And I agree with David that the easy way to resolve this is just to pass a motion with this, but delete that first part. And that would be a policy of the board.
If that would take care of things, yeah.
Take this off?
Can you amend your motion to
Yeah.
remove that?
So we're to amend it to leave this part off?
Sure.
So taking
And I don't-
this off
In terms of, I mean,
Has
if
to
you
be
want
the
to leave it
top
on the
line?
chart,
is the
Well,
shield.
Wait a minute.
well, if you want to leave them on the
No,
chart.
no,
well,
I'm just not
But-
following. I'm not
Well,
questioning
then-
what you're
This
doing.
part right at the top.
No, I know what it, I mean, I don't understand how that blurs the line and makes it where then, I mean, it seems to me if you have somebody above you, then you're
Well,
less
listen,
liable.
we don't have to have that on there, so just mark that off of yours and we'll go like
Well, we
this.
don't-
It's that, but deleting this is for the protection of Donaldson Friendship. and
Those
West
people
Brothers. Their
are
protection,
taken
not
off.
more-
Not ours, I got
The
you.
more
Okay, that's
independent,
what, I knew that I was not following. Okay, that's,
the more independent the board is.
I
the-
got you, the less, the I got you. I knew I wasn't going the right way, okay, that's,
Okay, I move, did everybody scratch that off? I move we adopt this management organization chart.
Second. Go ahead.
Motion made and seconded that we adopt the organizational chart from the board of directors down. Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes,
yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Garby.
Yes.
Okay.
Just real fast. Commercial haulers, I think I put these in front of everybody to let you know, how much each station is doing per day they're open. That was just a little FYI to have contracts with, one is the city of Perla, and we in turn haul the trash to the landfill for him. He probably has a contract till the end of the year based on his amount. So I just wanted to see if y'all wanted to go ahead and have all the commercial haulers move next door, but the ones that do have to pay, continue with that fee schedule that they're all
Until
used
they can
to
negotiate.
until they can negotiate and have a,
Because they negotiated on
yeah,
the price
because,
from
yeah,
us.
even if we
and
give,
so,
if we give them a month, that might still be a blow to them, if we don't
Yeah.
go maybe till the end of the year. And they also may realize that they possibly be paying more when they're paying $30 for a trailer load, and they take it over to the satellite station, they get that actual weight, and, maybe they're weighing 700 pounds, and they're not even up to the $40 amount, so. That'll give them a good idea too of how much they're actually hauling on their trucks. We'll still do all the scale tickets because we do have to weigh in and out at the satellite station. But, can go ahead and let Jay, charge them the regular amounts that they're used to.
Okay, now. I'm gonna stick, you're advocating that we stick with this, but we weigh them.
Yeah, they have to weigh going in and out of there because that's the only way we get the weight from the total tonnage. But stick with that maybe for a little while, maybe till the end of the year.
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too.
The other things, I want to make sure that all of the commercial haulers that do have to pay, that was in the commercial hauler agreement before, and I don't know if y'all all seen that or not, but But this is not the actual agreed upon agreement, but I did make copies for everybody if you want those.
Do we need a motion?
What that kind of ended up was, you know, there was a little discussion with Angela about, was that gonna send everybody that had to pay to the satellite station? Which, if you're coming from the city of Malvern, you got 2 bags of trash, where you're gonna have to go through the satellite station, and that's not the idea of it. The idea is to move the big trailers, the big garbage haulers, and the construction people over to the satellite station. And I've talked to quite a few of them, and they're kind of excited about it. They would rather go over there.
That should have been done when the place was built.
Yeah.
Now, just with that, when do you think you're gonna put that in place?
As soon as possible.
And you're gonna get that weight thing, so it'll be inside the
It's gonna take me a little
Satellite.
while on that. I've gotta get a price on that and see how long it's really gonna take them. And until then, you know, they can weigh next door, and Jay can handle them next door. But for convenience, then we need to
You'll
get that.
deal with running back.
Yeah,
All right.
we need that budget in a golf cart.
2 legs was made for God. That's the Foot Express.
Did we need a vote, or do you want me to just go ahead and do that and post it as the first of the year? Is my idea to change to that $40 stuff. Okay, I think. Recycling stayed the same as last month, cardboard 105, metal 140, newsprint 70. I don't have any information from the district. And as far as ADEQ, what I told you about talking to Lori Burt, that she is our inspector until they get somebody else hired, and she was very nice, and I think she'll be easy to work with. She said, just let me know if there's a problem, and I'll help you any way I can. So, that's
They
all I have.
normally tend to find something to write you up about. Not always.
Okay, attorney report, David, you got?
I've got a draft copy of the memorandum that you guys asked me to prepare, reflecting the agreement that we have operated by with the city of Midway. Some of the details on that, I don't like, because as I understand it, Midway transfers through the treasurer's office just the same way Donaldson
Yes.
does. But essentially what I've, at its core, it recognizes that Midway is not a member of the authority, and that the authority has the authorization to enter into an agreement with another city for the benefit of those citizens, and their right of access is contractual in nature rather than membership, that the terms of access are substantially the same as friendship policy. I also left it, because I like agreements that we have the right to terminate. I left a 30-day notice provision in there, just on the off chance that someday on down the line, the members decide they want to dissolve the authority. So, you know, it won't be done in perpetuity. It'll be an agreement that is tied to the board and mutual renewal of the agreement. I think I set it for a 2-year term to start though.
Okay, you addressed the item 10 payments.
Well, the way I've got it written here, and you know, and item 10, I've got it written as if Midway cuts a check to us. But I don't necessarily want to do that. I prefer to just continue doing what we're
That's
doing.
my concern. Everything looks good to me, but they are putting their money in.
Yeah, Ms. Chancellor just transfers it the same way as,
Yes, yes.
so I just wanted to get y'all's feedback before I put this in final form. But I figured you'd want to keep it just pretty much the way it is.
Anything else? Good, man.
And Mr. Dodd, I put paragraph 7 in just for you and mine.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Okay. I would like to read it over a little more, think about it. It looks
Sure.
okay.
Sure. Is this gonna be like a 2-year rollover, everywhere it comes every year?
You know, what I did when I started with it is I used the same template I was working on with the Prime Line agreement. So I cut and pasted a little bit and edited some language in. I set it for a 2-year term with an annual renewal thereafter. But we can do an annual term or what have you, but I also left a termination provision in there.
Did you read the piece we handed out?
Okay, you want to, are you, Dave, Jerry said he wanted to look at it.
Yeah, I would like to read it over if I could. When I can focus on, it won't take long. I'll be ready for next meeting.
I reckon it's in a rush for them, and I'll let you straight.
What I will do in advance of the next meeting, barring any email comments from any of the members, I will make sure that our wording reflects the payment schedule that we have by the transfers to treasurer. I know that the majority of that is transferred to operations of the authority. Some de minimis amount is kept by the municipality.
Anything else? Okay. Do you have any old business?
I guess the only little business that I have is that with the new management plan coming in place, it's my objective along with Chris is to provide you with a draft budget next month so we can start the process. The only thing that will really be open will be the healthcare costs. That will be somewhat tested. However, with that, we'll be able to pretty well project where we're going to come in.
Sounds like a winner.
At the same time, you know, we will provide you with what the basis of estimate is, but most of the basis of estimate is just going to be the 6 months. And then that came from limits along with comparing prior years. Not unless between now and then, Chris comes up with some more savings. She's a miracle worker.
Yeah.
Oh, I stopped and looked at the drainage issue at Social Hill. They not ever go by there and look at that thing, man, there ain't even no grass growing in the ditch out there by it. I mean, we've got to do something on that station right there and get it cleaned up. And the lady that was working there, she said that pumping out, when she pumps out that tank, that the initial tank that it first drains in, the liquid in it doesn't fluctuate. It's like there's no pipe connecting tank A and tank B.
That's what I've been told. I haven't personally seen it yet. I know that when it rains, it's a nightmare.
Well, I can understand. I mean, you don't have to look at it when it's rained or anything. I mean, you can just drive up down there and get out and look at it. And I mean, that's something that I think that we need to address.
You think that's a
immediately.
you think that's a $10,000 or $20,000 project?
I believe it could be done.
I don't think it would be that, I don't really
I guess you
think
know
it'd
what,
be
I'd
that
almost
much.
say if it's under $20,000, I'm more than favor to make a motion tonight to authorize the administrator, if you want to help with David, do it and try to get it solved. Because, we can go up into $20,000 for public procurement. Authorize the administrator to go up to $20,000 to solve that problem.
I volunteer to help you. Okay?
Okay.
Well, I'll make a motion that we authorize the administrator to spend up to $20,000 on fixing, what is it, the drainage problems in the septic system down there?
It's this, I think it's in the plumbing, it goes to the septic
Plumbing.
tank.
All right.
And, I mean, it needs a new tank put in to larger capacity. I know that you can get 1,000-gallon tanks. But there's got to be some problem in between where the compactor is and the holding tank.
Right.
Because I was told by the operator that you could come pump that tank out and this other little tank up here by the compactor where it actually collects first stays full. And so it's not draining through to the other tank. Undoubtedly, some of it's got to be draining through there, they would never have to pump it at all. And it does get pumped. But, I mean, and I don't know, I'm not a plumber, I don't know what all it
Is
is.
this the one off the
I know what
interstate?
the problem is. I know what the problem is.
All right.
It's a septic tank, and it's not, and the only way to pump that other tank out is you got to take the clean out hole on it and pump that tank out. Your outlet from that tank going to the other is only 2 inches lower than the inlet, so it stays full all the time. If you got to pump it as opposed to the other tank.
Well, that's all there is. Well, then it could be a very, very cheap deal, you know? But,
Do we want to make a second?
yeah, I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the administrator to address the wastewater problem at the Social Hill station. Is that specific enough?
I think it is.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Burnett,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Dodd,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Paredes, Wallace.
Yes.
Yerby,
Yes.
Any other old business? New business? Any new business? Public comment?
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.